14 members of the country's new government security service have been killed in the Syrian province of Tartus by local forces supporting the regime of ousted dictator Bashar al-Assad. The dead were ambushed while attempting to arrest an officer linked to the notorious Sednaya prison, The Guardian reports. The publication noted that 3 more armed men were killed during clashes in Tartus province. The new Syrian interior minister confirmed this information and added that another 10 policemen were wounded by Assad supporters. The incident comes as demonstrations and nighttime curfews elsewhere have become the worst unrest since the Syrian dictator's regime was toppled more than 2 weeks ago, the newspaper said. Journalists shared that in the city of Homs, Syrian police imposed a night curfew after unrest broke out there due to demonstrations that residents said were led by members of the Alawite and Shiite religious minorities. 1 protester was killed and 5 others were injured. Local residents told reporters that the demonstrations were linked to pressure and violence directed at members of the Alawite minority, who had long been considered loyal to Assad. In addition, the publication stated that demonstrations of thousands are being held in the coastal cities of Tartus and Latakia. They are also led by Alawites. Fabrice Balanchi, a Middle East expert from France's University Lumière Lyon II, estimated the Alawite community makes up for about 9% of Syria's population. The Alawites were very close to Bashar's regime. Their association with the regime risks provoking collective revenge against them, even more so as Islamists consider them heretics, he told AFP. Syria's transition after the fall of Mr. al-Assad's government has been so far unchallenged. The interim leader Ahmad al-Shara has vowed to put in place an inclusive government represented by various religious sections. The country's new rulers have sought to assure religious and ethnic minorities that their rights would be upheld, but minorities in Syria, especially the Alawites, are fearful for their future and worry about revenge attacks. Activists have reported some revenge killings in the country in the past few weeks. The new Syrian authorities said that on December 25, some representatives of the ousted Assad regime attacked interior ministry forces in the coastal region of the country, resulting in several deaths and injuries. At least 4 people were killed as a result of Ukrainian shelling in the town of Lvov in the Kursk region Wednesday, according to local authorities. 3 people died after several residential blocks and a beauty salon were hit, regional head Alexander Kinstein said. Another person later died in a hospital. A representative from the investigative committee said, fragments and shrapnel from a shell, presumably from a HIMARS MLRS, were found. The explosion could be heard in the street according to a local resident who said their house shook.
Мы были дома, дом задрожал. Все встали, дети учились на дистанционном обучении. Мы схватили детей, легли на пол, было 6 ударов, потом пошел дым отсюда. Видно, мы живем здесь рядом.
В результате осмотра обнаружены фрагменты и осколки от снаряда, предположительно от РСЗО «Хаймерс». Все они будут изъяты и в дальнейшем направлены на экспертизу для уточнения конкретного типа и вида снаряда.
Kurdish-led fighters in Syria, known as the Syrian Democratic Forces, said on Tuesday they have launched a counter-offensive against the Turkish-backed Syrian National Army to take back areas near Syria's northern border with Turkey. The Kurdish-led SDF is Washington's critical ally in Syria, targeting sleeper cells of the extremist Islamic State group scattered across the country's east. Since the fall of the totalitarian rule of Bashar al-Assad earlier this month, clashes have intensified between the US-backed group and the SNA, which captured the key city of Manbij and the areas surrounding it. The intense weeks-long clashes come at a time when Syria, battered by over a decade of war and economic misery, negotiates its political future following half a century under the Assad dynasty's rule. Ruken Jamal, spokesperson of the Women's Protection Unit, or YPJ, which is under the SDF, told the Associated Press that its fighters are just over 11 kilometers away from the center of Manbij in their ongoing counter-offensive. She accused Ankara of trying to weaken the group's influence in negotiations over Syria's political future through the SNA. The UK-based opposition war monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, says that since the SNA's offensive in northern Syria against the Kurds started earlier this month, dozens from both sides have been killed. US Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin spoke on Tuesday with Turkish Minister of National Defense Yasar Gula, according to Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder. Ryder said they discussed the ongoing situation in Syria, and Austin emphasized that close and continuous coordination is crucial to a successful effort to counter IS in the country. They also discussed the importance of setting the conditions to enable a more secure and stable Syria. Ankara sees the SDF as an affiliate of its sworn enemy, the Kurdistan Workers' Party, or PKK, which it classifies as a terrorist organization. Turkish-backed armed groups alongside Turkish jets for years have attacked positions where the SDF are largely present across northern Syria, in a bid to create a buffer zone free from the group along the large shared border. While the SNA was involved in the lightening insurgency led by the Islamic group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham that toppled Assad, it has continued its push against the SDF, seen as Syria's second key actor for its political future. On Monday, the SDF spokesperson Farhad Shami said its forces pushed back the Turkish-backed rebels from areas near the Tishrin Dam on the Euphrates River, a key source of hydroelectric power. He said the SDF also destroyed a tank belonging to the rebels southeast of Manbij. The British-based War Monitor said on Tuesday that the Kurdish-led group, following overnight fighting, has reclaimed 4 villages in the areas near the strategic dam.